Hi, welcome to the Digital Science poster session for SSP 2023. So this year we're presenting a session about the OSTP memo, and our poster is entitled Future Perfect, Turning Challenges from the OSTP memo into Opportunities. Now, since the White House announced the OSTP memo back in August 2022, there's been a lot of talk about what this will mean for scholarly communications in general. So today we'd like to talk to you about a couple of solutions that digital science have, which will hopefully ease the burden for publishers and, more importantly, for publishers' customers, namely Dimensions and Figshare. So with Dimensions, what we can do is that we can compare open access trends in European countries to the US. Now, as you probably know, in Europe, we've had Plan S, and that has accelerated the move towards open access in recent years. By looking at the data of where Europe is now compared to where it was before Plan S, and then looking at similar data with the US itself, we can maybe see what might happen in the future. In addition, one of the key parts of the OSTP memo is mandating open data sharing. And with Figshare, the world's leading data repository, we've got the ideal solution for publishers. So firstly, what does the data tell us? Well, in the chart here, you can see a number of countries and the upward trend towards open access. And in particular, what you can see there is that with the orange line, which is Europe, then in the latter part of the 2010s, you saw a very rapid increase in open access adoption. This shows that the Plan S, both just before and during the Plan S implementation, there was this big increase in open access engagement. But what we also see with the black line, which is North America, is that this is kind of flattening off in that period. So things have been changing between those two regions. Now, if you look in more detail at what has happened in the US, what we see is that flattening off with the overall trend line at the top. But what's quite interesting is that the increases of the different types of open access adoption underneath. So with the gold bar there, then that represents gold open access. And you can see that that has increased gradually over time and more rapidly in recent years. Whereas green open access, which was the dominant form of open access in 2010 at the start of the graph, then that is also declined in the same period. So the percentage of adoption of gold open access is now much greater than green open access. So how can this help publishers? Well, one of the publishers that we work closely with is PLOS, and they have told us that they really do rely on this kind of data in two ways, really. Firstly, they rely on this baseline data for their internal purposes so that they can benchmark what they're doing, but also it helps inform them about what they do with their customers and how they track things in future and how they go about product development. Now, as I mentioned before, we've also got another solution, which is Figshare. So this enables publishers to automate data and article sharing in an open access environment aligned with the OSTP memo. Now, every year, Figshare, along with Digital Science and Springer Nature, do a really huge survey, over 5,000 respondents, asking them about their attitudes towards open data sharing. What's interesting is that year on year, we see a gradual increase in the number of respondents who are quite interested in open data sharing and they want to do it. So there's a demand there, but they have some doubts. They have doubts about preprints. They have doubts about adoption. They have doubts about whether they understand how to actually do it. And those doubts are gradually diminishing, but it's very, very slow. So we think by having a really competent solution like Figshare, then that will aid that adoption process. So in conclusion, digital science has got a range of solutions that can help you as publishers meet the needs of authors, reduce the burden on authors, and overall increase efficiencies in the system. Now, if you'd like to know more about about the poster in general, then we're doing 2 poster sessions at the SSP conference. However, if you want to come and see us, we're at booth number 410, that's 410, at the SSP conference, and we'd love to have a chat with you. Thank you very much.